What up, masters? You ever wondering why you don't get what you want? Like, you know that you're like, I want this. I can do it. Other people have done it. And why am I not doing it? Well, if you're like me, that happens quite a bit. And here's the cool thing. We've got Michael Bernoff on the show today. He wrote the amazing best-selling book, Average Sucks. And this is such an awesome interview. I just had fun with him. I'm guessing you're going to have fun as well listening. And you're going to walk away with some awesome takeaways. And one of my biggest takeaways was just, seriously, go get his book. I can't wait to finish it. I've read some of the notes, but I can't wait to get into the book and really dig deep. I'm excited, but you're going to get a ton just from listening to this. You're going to leave with some really great ideas and a few strategies. So I'm excited for you. Listen, before we jump into it, my next boot camp starts this July 6th, coming up in a few weeks, my friends, less than a week and a half, I think. We are going to start a 6-week training. I'd love to get you involved. Guys, it's called Phone Mastery. Excited. If you've done my camps in the past, you know how deep we go. Now with the Zoom technology, it's going to be next level. Also going to share some extra things I've learned since, my friends. We're going deep on everything from expireds to FSBOs to voice drops to everything, to being effective to call reluctance. You're going to get a copy of my book. So much there. Love to get you in that. If you want more details, go to phonemastery.davidihill.com. Again, phonemastery.davidihill.com. Don't forget about our sponsors, Vulcan 7 and Land Voice. All you got to do is go to my site, davidihill.com, click on affiliates. All the affiliate information is there for their special deals, special opportunities for our listeners. And guys, don't forget, guys and girls, I always say guys, I got to get away from that. Don't forget to join us on our Facebook group. We've got a Facebook group. It's called Path to Mastery. Love to have you be part of our group. And just so many really cool things going on. And we're always posting everything there. That's like kind of the calendar. But listen, I just want to engage with you. So please reach out to me. If you're in real estate and you want to learn to master the phones, you want to find business, and you want to generate that business and get people calling you back, then get into that boot camp. We only have 24 seats available. Starts July 6th, $297. Get signed up. phonemastery.davidihill.com. All right, my friends, thank you for that long intro, and enjoy Michael Bernoff. Hey, what's up, masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. Today we are with, let me get that out right. Today we are with Mr. Michael Bernoff. What's up, Mike?
What's up, David? How are you? You ready to rock today, huh?
I'm always ready to rock, man. Sounds like you're ready to rock too.
As soon as we clocked in, you were ready. I love it. East Coast, East Coast.
Yeah, you got to love how both of us were like getting ready like 1 minute before the interview time, just like putting everything.
We're part of the ADD generation, aren't we?
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, it was nice talking to you a few minutes before. We were both in the UFC, which is really cool as well. And I'm excited for this. And your book is Average Sucks. I mean, the title, man, the title just speaks to you, right? And it's so, I don't know if common's the right word, but it's, I read, your bio, your description, and, you basically, I'll read part of it. So, it says you're in the business you've always wanted to be in, making good money. Nothing's really wrong, yet you're unsatisfied with where you are. You're painfully aware that there's another level that you can reach. You think you know what to do to get there. The only problem is you're not doing it, right? At least not consistently. I mean, how common is that in life?
It's global, man. It's the reason I wrote the book, and it took me about 9 years to write it. It's a story in itself, is that there was nothing else out there like it. It was the fact that I kept on meeting people. I've worked with millions of people over the years, hundreds of thousands at our events. And I kept on realizing that what people did and what they wanted were radically different. It's like, I want to be on the first line on the team, but I'm on the second line. I want to make 10 million a year and I make $1 million. It's like everyone I'd meet, it's not that they're not content. It's that like, you're capable of more, but there's this thing that's holding you back. And that's where the whole average sucks comes in. It's a mystical force that gets in the way of our lives. It's fascinating.
No doubt. And I guess if you think about it, how many people, what would you say, how many people are in that place where they don't even know if they're like, maybe in their mind, they're like, well, I wouldn't mind if things were a little bit better, but I'm fine where I'm at. It's cool. Is that common or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually associate, and those people usually don't listen to podcasts. They're probably not your listener, because the odds of somebody listening, downloading, clicking right now, you give a crap about your life. Does that make sense? And you want to make a difference in your life. So there's a large percentage of the world that is content. That's not who I wrote the book for. And who I wrote the book for is, do you mind if I ask how old you are?
But maybe there's, I'm 51.
Okay, so you and me, we grew up middle class, lower middle class, middle class, upper middle class, child of the 70s and 80s, right? So life, we could be average back in the day, and we did pretty good. Our parents could get by being average. The problem is since 1995 and the internet came out, boom, Amazon, you're average this day in the world, you're not only left behind, you got nothing. So the average is a losing proposition now, where in the old days, it was my dad had a really great life being an average guy.
So let's do this then. Let's define average, because there may be some people listening that think they're actually killing it, and maybe they're just average. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying.
No. And if we do judge you, we love you. We're not meaning to be judged. All people judge, right?
There you go.
So you're not going to judge me being a Yankees fan, are you?
Well, I already did, and we moved beyond that.
So we moved beyond that. We're good. We're good. So that's the old shtick. So bottom line, David, here's the deal. I get pulled over. I get my car, and I'm pulled over by cops. But the back of my license plate says average sucks. People honk. Damn, Michael, that's great. I got it as like my phone. It's everywhere. Got the book. And people are like, man, I love it. Average sucks. I'm like, it does suck. I go, do you know what it means? They're like, oh, you got to be better than everyone else. And I said, no. Average sucks it's that feeling you get when you're on the edge of a diving board. You ever had that feeling like you want to jump, but you don't?
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to ask someone to prom, go back to being 16 again. You're scared. Ask someone to marry you. You're scared. It's that resistance we have in our lives. That's your average you're running into. So what I mean by average is every human being has an average. You have an average daily bank account, you usually have. You have an average intimacy level in a year. You have an average of your relationship, an average of how much money you make, an average how often you work out. And your unconscious mind has a direct desire to keep you your average, has a vested interest to keep you this average. And the biggest reason people don't get what they want is, here's the sad part, you can't get what you want being your current self. It's impossible. You are designed to get what you have. You're not designed to get what you want. And that's why I say average sucks. So the average we're talking about is you have an average, and that's you. Whoever your favorite baseball player, UFC fighter is, they got an average. If they want to be better, they have to change what their average is.
So you're saying you're not comparing yourself to others. You're comparing yourself to you and your potential is what I'm getting from that.
That's the trick to get you to buy the book. So when people buy the book thinking, damn straight, I'm going to be like Bobby Axelrod in Billions. Average sucks. I want to be like Jordan Belfort in, Wolf of Wall Street. I want to be rich, famous. All the ego people are going to buy the book thinking, oh, he's going to show me how to be better. And then they're going to look in the mirror and go, damn, the only way to get better is I need to outgrow my current average.
So it's funny when you talked about being at the end of the diving board, it got me thinking, you're a UFC, you're a fan, I'm a fan. You ever watched the show Dana White looking for a fight?
I know who you're talking about.
Did you see the episode where Dana White, they all went out to, I don't know where they were. They were on an island. They were jumping off cliffs, and everybody jumped except Dana. And he stayed there all day, and they were trying to egg him on to jump, and he wouldn't jump. So would you say Dana White is way above average? Yet he wouldn't.
But his average is a guy that doesn't jump off the cliff. So every Steve Jobs, when he was alive, had an average. Warren Buffett has an average. So if Warren Buffett wanted to be a trillionaire, he'd have to change his average. So the coolest part is, what the biggest breakthrough people are getting from the book is, I wrote it for a largest group of people that I knew that needed help was the middle class kids of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. That it's dead. It's like our old system of thinking is over. Like, did you watch Little House on the Prairie when you were a kid? I won't tell anybody, but did you watch it?
I think I watched a few.
Oh,
episodes.
You watched? I did. You know that you were either broke or rich back in the day, right? Like you were either living on the prairie. What's
Yeah,
that?
we were broke. We were broke. My family was broke. Yes.
Well, if you were broke,
So
you have instant motivation. You're broke. You want to get out of it, or you stay broke. If you're
sure.
middle class, you're okay. The problem with being
Yeah.
okay is you don't have built-in motivation to do anything. You
Got
don't hear
it.
many
Okay.
success stories about middle class. You hear a ton of success stories of broke succeeded
So,
or rich got there.
all right. So I'll get off Dana. It's funny when I saw the episode.
We're hazing Dana. He's going to come after us.
I was perplexed by it because I'm like, this is Dana White. Like he's got to jump, and he didn't. And but you know what? The bottom line is he doesn't have to jump. He's Dana White anyway, right?
He
So
cut
it really
all their
makes
paychecks.
no difference.
He cuts their paycheck.
So why are so many people okay just being average? Like or like what?
It's their script.
And before you even answer, so I'm going to go back to something we said, but I think there's a lot of people that will say, I want to get to the next level. They're going to because you're saying the people that listen to this probably aren't listening to this. I would question that just because I think there's a lot of people that do listen that are always going to things and always doing motivational stuff, but yet they're not moving forward.
Well, I'm not saying that. Yes. So the people listening to this, I will tell you that there's a chapter in the book that says you're average, and it gets people to realize they're average. And they first hear that. I was in a group of 1,000 doctors, unicorns at what they do, making millions a year as doctors. And I said, do you know what all of your problems are? You're average. And they got mad. I'm lucky I'm 6'6", right? I'm a big guy. And so what happened was I said, you're average. I said, no, you're not average. Your average is what holds you back. So once you disseminate that, that's a big thing. So the biggest reason we lose in life and we get stuck is, like, my parents told me, work hard, be a good person. That was their game plan. And I got into business and I worked hard. I was a good person, failed miserably. What they didn't teach me is how to outgrow my current situation. And that's what I think most people don't recognize, that the only way to get the business, the body, the life, the relationship you want is, A, get help. Someone can hoist you over the wall. Or 2, grow and outgrow your current average, because we're always going to be controlled by an average. The question is, which one controls you? Like, let me ask you this. What made you start the podcast? What made you start this? Because it's great. You got some great guests. You got a great show. I did some stalking of you. So
well, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
What made you start this?
I started it because I wrote a book called The Sales Playbook. And honestly, it wasn't my intention to start a podcast. I wrote a book and I'm like, okay, how do I get my book out there to the world? And that's what I started a podcast. And Masters, I'll get you right back to the show. I want to remind you of my boot camp coming up July 6th for everybody that wants to take their phone skills to the next level. Okay, I don't care what level you're at right now. You want to take it to the next level. I'm going to share my 35 years of experience on taking your phone skills to the next level, and you're going to generate business, my friends. This is about generating business, okay? Not listening to me, but generating business. Go right now to phonemastery.davidihill.com to get registered. phonemastery.davidihill.com to get registered. Also, don't forget, if you want to get a copy of Average Sucks, go to davidsfreebook.com. Get yourself a copy of the book, Average Sucks, okay? davidsfreebook.com. My friends, you rock. Enjoy the rest of the show.
So 4 or 5 years ago, you got to a point in your life, you said, I want to get this book out. I'm not getting it out to the level I want. You said, put a line in the sand, said, I'll never go back. And that's when people change their average. You got from no podcast to podcast, changed your average, built this big dream for yourself. But next leveling this, like we all have to do, is a whole new average. So you consciously thought about it. But most people, this is where their life got started. They woke up one day, they got pissed off. They said, I'm never going to be treated that way again. I'm never going to make under 100 grand a year again. I'm never salespeople. I'm never going to have a bad boss. I'm never going to, and they say never again. And then they say, this is what I want. And their new identity is wanting it, not having it. And that's where most people go wrong. They want things. They just don't actually how to get it.
Well, the have is, I mean, if you go to the podcast is a grind sometimes. I mean, to do a podcast for, most people have no idea what it takes to do a weekly podcast for 4 years. I mean, I don't know if you follow the stats. I think the average person will do 8 episodes and then it fizzles off. So there's a lot of times I did not feel like doing podcasts. It was the last thing I wanted to do, but yet I just kept grinding. And I think, is that something like, let's talk about like strategy, right? So people that are listening to this say, okay, you know what? I do want to get to the next level. So what are some of the strategies that people are going to use? I mean, it's easy for me to say you got to grind because I do triathlons. I'm used to grinding. Okay.
I'm a Spartan guy, so I get it.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I love it. I did my first Ironman race last year.
Good for you.
Like,
You got me beat, man.
awesome.
Ironman versus Spartan, you got me beat.
Well, Spartan, you guys are doing all kinds of crazy stuff too.
Crazy
so I'll probably
shit.
get hurt doing that. Yeah. So it balances out.
So ask me the question. Let's get real context right now. Let's take an imaginary person, like almost like the Brady Bunch back in the day, like George Glass. Let's make an imaginary. Remember that episode? I don't know if you remember. Let's take an imaginary person with an imaginary challenge, and let's rock it out.
Okay. All right.
So you said the reason I'm saying that is I got 1,000 strategies. I want to take like a listener, who is the person? Are they a salesperson?
Brilliant. All right. So we have a real estate agents make up the majority of our listeners. So you got somebody in real estate, they're doing a deal here or there, maybe they're closing, maybe they're making $70,000, $80,000 and their life. So it's okay. I don't have a lot of expenses, but they know there's a next level. They're watching other agents that are making $250,000, $300,000 a year. So they're kind of like, well, I don't know. Everything's kind of comfortable, right? Yep. Let's talk to that person.
Okay. So that person, that's a lot of the people we work with. I work with thousands and thousands of real estate agents and investors every year.
Okay. Perfect.
And the biggest challenge people have, and they do good. Like if you're doing 70 grand a year, first off, tap on the head. Congratulations. Like, good stuff. You're doing it. Most people don't ever close one deal. So congratulations. Back in 2005, you stepped outside of your house. You closed the deal for being alive. Does that make sense? Nowadays, It's a little more of a grind. I'm not a grind guy because that was the thing my parents told me. Grind, work hard, be a good person, blah, blah, blah. I do believe there is a grind potential, but it's not the do-all, end-all. It requires growth to get where you want to go. So what I think most people don't recognize, and this is so fascinating, what was your original? Everything is psychology. So most of us are just outdated. It's like, I got an iPhone 8. You want to know why I have it? Because I could have the brand new one. I'm sitting in a $2 million building I bought. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like I can't afford a new phone. My theory is I keep that $2,000 in my pocket and I invest it. I buy stocks of Tesla. When the thing breaks, I'll buy a new one. Do you know what I'm saying? So
iPhones, mine's ringing right now.
Pick it up. Let's close the deal.
It's one of my builders, actually.
So one of your brothers?
Builders.
Oh, builders.
Yeah, okay, he'll wait. I'll get him after.
So here's the beautiful thing. Everyone has a psychological reason of why they do something. So what I usually ask people is, what was your original reason for going to business? 90% of real estate agents would tell you this. I went into business. My initial reason was to prove a point, to make money, to be my own boss. So here they are 3 years later, making $75,000 a year, wondering why they're not making 300. Well, they're succeeding at their plan. Their plan is very simple. They wanted freedom. They wanted to be their own boss. Nobody to tell them what to do. They wanted to make money when they felt like it and sleep when they felt like it. So congratulations, you're living your current life. You didn't realize you'd get here so quickly. You haven't updated yourself in a while. Didn't upgrade yourself to the iPhone X574321, right? So what I tell that person psychologically is like I ask you, if you want to level up your podcast, I would look you in the eyes and I'd say to you, okay, great. Forget about the guy that started the podcast, because I learned this when we started the Corona thing. It's like everybody thought they had to pivot. They had to start their business over again. I got to go back and be 20 again. So what does a 51-year-old guy do that's been running an incredible podcast for 4 years, had some of the greatest guests in the world? See that smirk on your face? What does that guy do who succeeded in business, wrote incredible books, rewriting a book? What can that guy do? And the problem is nobody has that guy show up in the mirror. You know who shows up in the mirror? Their 9-year-old self. So for me, I couldn't get this book done. You want to know why I couldn't get that book done? Because a 9-year-old boy that had ADD was trying to write the book. Somebody that didn't want to ask for help. Somebody wanted to prove he could do it himself. So the book took 7 years too long. As soon as a 41-year-old man decided to write that book that has made $70-80 million in sales in his company over the years, that guy got the book done in 4 days. And the reason why is most people are not updating their protocol. So the question is, does this person need to do what they're currently doing, or do they need to do the next thing? And I think most people don't recognize that, whether it's going from a marathon to an Ironman, dude, let your marathon person run the Ironman, not your rookie. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. So does that make sense what I just said to you?
No.
Okay. That's psychology. It'll make sense to the listener. So what I'm getting at, why I'm saying this is psychologically, most people are running off an old game plan. So if you want to run a better game plan, you've got to up your game. So for instance, language wise,
put it on. Yes, I was going to say put it in layman's terms. So
I'm going to make it layman for you.
Yes, for all of us. Like I want you to explain this so that a 10-year-old listening to this podcast will understand what to do.
Here's what the 10-year-old
so they can take actions.
What is your relationship? I'll ask the $75,000 a year person. Their current reality is they want something different, but their current reality is they do what they currently do. And it isn't necessary for them. It's completely negotiable for them in their life to get what it is they want. So if a person wants to change, the first thing they need to change is their language. And you talk sales, everybody's worried about selling other people. My next book I'm writing is called How to Market to Yourself. And the reason why is we've got to learn how to market to ourselves. So here's a person that making more money really isn't necessary. It's nice to have. It's like to have. It would be great, but it's not necessary. So what's fascinating about this, if I were to change my psychology, I would say, what is your target? And you know what this person's target is? Freedom. Their target is proving a point. My question is, are they looking to build a profitable business? Are they looking to leverage themselves? No, they're not. That would be nice to have. And the other thing you got to ask them is, what is their drive? So for me, I didn't work out for years. And this is the way that I explain things in a way. I didn't work out for years. And the reason why is I don't like to work out. When I first worked out, working out for me was something I did in high school. When I wanted to impress women, I wanted to play hockey, I wanted to beat people up, I wanted to work out, right? I'm 40 years old and I don't work out. Well, here's why. That's what used to work out means to me. Now I train. I switched my language. So here's my question. How necessary is this to this person? And a lot of it comes down to language and psychology. So what I would say to this person is, see, I'm not with them right now. If I was with them, I'd ask them the question. I'm using this imaginary joke.
Well, they're listening to us right now. They're somewhere in their car or on a treadmill or on walking somewhere listening right now.
I'd say
to you, we're talking to you.
Have you made it non-negotiable yet? And the reason I'd say is, have you made it non-negotiable? Like I tell people, if you don't make the calls and you don't do what you need to do and push yourself to grow or grind, as you'd say, my question is, how selfish is that? Are you playing smaller than you need to? Are you living by a person of integrity? And most people say they want something and don't do it. And I basically say you're out of integrity with yourself. And usually it takes the gut punch or somebody calling somebody out to get them to change. Wanting it's not going to be enough because 97% of us are motivated by things getting bad enough and then changing. So what happens is I always tell people, if you don't do it, that's no problem. You're just really disrespecting yourself and you're a liar to your family. And people say, well, what do you mean? I'm not a liar. You're not a liar. But you say one thing and do another. I call that a liar. What do you call that? And when I use that language, I've motivated more professional athletes than you can imagine. I've motivated more UFC fighters. I don't just know them. I'm the guy that works with a lot of these guys privately before they go in the ring. They don't do it now because we're in freaking COVID land.
So what are you saying to the UFC guy before he goes into the ring?
I talk to them about respect.
Or does it depend on which guy it is?
I talk about respect, and I talk about respecting themselves. It depends on the guy. One of the guys I worked with recently, you can go look it up. I mean, the guy literally dropped a guy in his freaking head. I thought I was going to kill him. I did such a good job working with this guy. But what was crazy was I said to him, let me ask you a question. How much do you honor yourself? He goes, I honor myself a ton. Do you respect yourself? Yes, I respect myself. Do you realize that you literally put yourself through the ringer and you've got about 9 minutes right now to go in there? And in those 9 minutes, you're going to show how much you really respect yourself. Or do you respect your opponent? And I said, one of the things is, one of the most selfish behaviors that we can have is to say one thing and do another. You've just told your body, your coach, and me that this matters to you. Now you just got to do the work for 9 minutes. What matters to you? And I get in their head. And I do that, and then bam, they do their thing. So it's fascinating how that works. So there's certain words in the English language that are what's called gut punches. Words like integrity, selfish, words like honor, respect, integrity. Those words drive people. Most people think words like grind and get rich and Ferrari and beach house are going to move you. Nobody's going to be moved by Ferrari and beach house. It's not going to drive you.
Yeah. I was brought up as a grinder, so
because you want to make money. What's that?
I said I was brought up just being a grinder myself, so I think it
I like it
to an extent. I mean, I got a long way to go myself.
Does grind drive you, or are you doing this because it's necessary? Meaning that I don't mean necessary.
That's a good question. Yeah, I'd say I do it because it's necessary right now. Yeah,
for two reasons. One, for your business.
It's a really good question.
Thank you. And the second reason it's necessary is you made a commitment to the people listening. And you're a man of your word. So when you wake up and don't want to do it, or you're tired, or it's a grind, or people lose, it is necessary. And necessary triggers you. It's called a trigger word.
I agree. Agreed. All right. So let's get back to the person we're talking to. Someone's listening to this.
Yep.
What's the first step? What's the next step for that person? Say,
Very
okay, you
simple.
know what? I get it. I'm out of integrity. What's my
Yep.
next step?
Number one is you need to accept you're not where you want to be. And this is the hard part. So you got a sales guy, right? So I'm in a room full of salespeople, guys making millions of dollars a year. I work with great clients and guys making 75 grand a year. And one of the things I recognized is I asked the room people, how good are you at sales? The guy making 75 grand a year on a scale of 1 to 10 says he's an 8. The guy making $1 million says he's an 8 or 9. I said, okay, how are you compared to like Bobby Axelrod in billions, right? And they say, whoa, compared to him, I'm probably a 3. So here's my question. How good are you compared to what you're capable of? See, what most people do is they rate themselves too high. They do it. They rate themselves too high. They act like you're better than they are out of ego because you don't want to get picked on. So the key is when you accept you're not where you want to be, you're on line 2, want to be on line 1, or you're on line 1 and you're not the starting center. You're Mark Messier. You're not Wayne Gretzky when we're kids. You know what I'm saying? You're not the best. So when you accept you're not where you want to be, 3 things happen. Number 1, opportunity presents itself. If you're not there, where do I want to be? Great. Also, massive insecurity shows up. You realize you're not as good as you thought you were. It's not a bad thing. There's your ladder, and that's what we need to grow. So step 1 to changing your life is accept you're not where you want to be. As soon as you accept you're not where you want to be, actions show up, opportunity shows up, your box grows, your average grows, everything has the ability to change. Most people are not willing to answer that question. The greatest people I work with, that's what Steve Jobs had, lived his life that way. You know what? It's still not good enough. Now, some people can't handle that. But if you want to grow, you need to accept you're not where you want to be.
Yeah. So what's going to be the biggest challenge when somebody gets there, Mike, when somebody gets to that place and like, you know what? Yeah, I think I do. Someone listening to this right now is going to be like, shit, yeah, this is good stuff. I want to do this. What's going to be what's going to prevent them from doing it, I guess is a better
doing what?
question.
From taking action?
Yeah. From going above average. They're not, I'm getting out of average. And I don't know what is out of average, I guess.
Well, there is no
sucks.
out of average. That's the part you got to accept. There is no, is it the average you picked or the average that you picked years ago or the average that was picked for you? Like I was absent a couple of days in school, the day that they taught success. And I skipped the day that they decided who I was and I bought into it. So like I lived my life for years believing I was something that I wasn't. Like I play hockey, right? 40 years old playing in a men's league. I'm a decent player, right? Pretty better than someone that's never played, way better, but decent. And I never scored goals. And I scratched my head. I'm like, why don't I score goals? And then I realized, wait a second. I never believed I could. I always told myself I didn't know how. So most people have a wall in front of them. And what I mean by a wall is you want everything on the other side of the wall, but you're trying to, the grind you're talking about is not the grind I'm talking about. The grind you're talking about is necessary. The grind I'm talking about is lower your shoulder and try to go through the freaking wall. You're not going to get through it. We need to outgrow our current situation. And the reason we don't outgrow it, what the person's going to run into is you're going to run into old ways of thinking. And also anytime you find yourself like, I want to get rich, and you find this feeling like I want to be rich, but you got this gravitational pull to go to Starbucks for $7 and go get a coffee.
Yeah.
If you want to be rich, get your ass out of Starbucks. Go invest that money. Go buy Disney stock at $100 a share. Don't go to Starbucks for a month and buy some stuff. So what I'm getting at is your gravitational pull to do things you don't want in the fridge or at the gym is your old average. And most of us don't recognize you got to put a name on it. Your pull that all of us have, Dana White at the edge of the cliff, is his average stopping him. And most of us have friends that live in our old average. We have relationships that live in our old average. You have an identity pieces of you. Like Michael, non-author Michael, was my old average. I had to destroy that average to become the person I wanted to be.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, same with me. I'm the Dave Hill that grew up in the projects in New York. It is
what
is
part
the
of New
average. We lived in the South Bronx when we moved up here when I was like
we're from Riverdale. We're from the Bronx.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
My mom grew up on Jerome Ave.
Yeah. I think we were at like Brooklyn Heights or so.
Helen Parkway.
Years. I mean, this is 40 years ago. There were fires every night. That's what I remember.
So you destroyed your average.
Well, I'm still battling it, Mike. Still battling.
But that feeling you have inside of you that wants to pull you back there, that's your average. That's why it took me so long to write the book. I kept on running into, what the hell am I doing? I'm 5 years in a business. I'm kicking ass. I got more clients, more people than ever, and I'm making about the same amount of money. What is wrong? That was 15 years ago. I'm like, what is wrong? And then I realized, wait a second. I have my dad's voice in my head. I got my voice in my head. I got my old thinking. I got this old way of living that I have to learn how to deal with. That is called your average.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting when I liked what you said in the beginning when average is not necessarily comparing yourself to someone else. Because I can look at Elon Musk and say, "Oh man, that guy, like, geez,
he's average." That guy for Elon, he's the most average Elon Musk you ever met.
Yeah, great point. All right, so first off, the title of your book's awesome. Everybody listening, go get a copy of Average Sucks right away. How did you do that? What's the best way
Average,
to do that?
I mean, you can get it anywhere on earth. I mean, you can find it at bookstores. They'll have it too, but averagesucks.com. Giving away about 10 extra audios if you get the book, which is great. Kindle, hardback. It's gorgeous, the hardback. And remember, when you get the book, get one for your nightstand and get one for work. And the reason I'm telling you that is it's not a slogan. It's not a logo. It's a decision in life. And we own the brand. I own the name Average Sucks. I own the whole trademark. I own everything.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason I'm telling you that is it's a decision to destroy your old average. It's almost like the Bible to getting you where you want to go. Not the Bible, but the Bible to get you where you want to go.
I appreciate you emailing me too. You sent me the manuscript, so that's awesome.
I'm gonna get you the book too. I'm gonna send you some shirts to hook you up.
Dude, that would be phenomenal. All right, so what do you want? Like, anything I missed? What else should I have asked you?
You asked me everything good. I mean, it's good, and I love your directness. I love you. No, I didn't get it. I'll tell everyone.
We're the same, dude.
Listen again to what I said.
East Coast.
East Coast. I mean, you're a New Yorker. I grew up in Jersey. My parents are from the Bronx. So the only other thing is, if you want things to change, you've got to do things differently than you're currently doing them. I mean, you got the path for them. You've got some great stuff. I love what you're doing. You're all on the right path right now. But I'm just going to ask all of you to look in the mirror today. Like, literally look in the mirror and ask yourself this question: are you where you want to be? And if the answer is no, that's okay. Next question is, where do you want to be? And are you willing to take the path? And the path is rewriting your identity. I had a fake ID business when I was a kid. It's kind of fitting for right now, but all of us have a fake ID, man. You're living a fake life. You're living a piece of you. Like, I'm 6'6". Guy taps me one day, goes, "How tall are you?" And I go, "I'm 6'6". He goes, "Why are you acting 5'11"? I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "When are you going to start living the extra 6 or 7 inches of your life?" And I don't think we need to look to the outside to be Elon Musk, because if David grows into full version you, screw Elon, you're better than him. I'm just telling you are. You get it? Like, we don't need to be Michael Jordan. Your best could crush him. I'm telling you. That's what most people don't recognize. We just have not seen ourselves yet.
Good stuff, man. Well, this was a fun interview, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This was awesome. Right up there with Mel Robbins, dude.
I appreciate that. I love Mel, and she's as hyper as me. I like it.
Yeah, awesome.
She's got the cool glasses, though, man. She's got the kicks. Her kicks and glasses match. She's a badass.
She's no joke, man. She's no joke. All right, cool. Well, listen, I appreciate your time.
Yep.
We already did find, like, what's Path to Mastery mean to you?
Path to Mastery is finding out who you really are and owning it. I think most people don't recognize who they really are. They're scared to be themselves. The day you wake up and you truly own who you are, all of it, all the way through, you master your life.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Yes, sir. Hey, Masters, 45 seconds. That's all I ask. I appreciate you listening to the show. I don't know if I say that enough, but I know you can invest your time wherever you choose. So thank you for spending it here with us. Remember, if you want any information on me or my events coming up, just go to my website, which is davidihill.com. Again, davidihill.com. Click on the events tab. You've got webinars, you've got past webinar replays, everything is there. You can also get access to our sponsors there if you click on the affiliates link. So again, everything is at davidihill.com, and we'd love to have you join us on our Facebook community, which just go to Facebook and search groups, which is Path to Mastery. And finally, as you know, you can get yourself a free book by going to davidsfreebook.com. My friends, again, I just want to say I appreciate you spending time with us. Oh my gosh, I forgot the review. If you would, it helps so much if you'd be willing to go give me a review, and then email a review to me at david@davidihill.com. Email it to me. I'll read it on air for you. And I just want to say I appreciate you again for listening to the show. You rock. Enjoy the rest of your day.